Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Saturday Morning Live. Ooh, lips greasy. Another edition of Saturday Morning Live. I am your co-host, Reggie. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. We had a slight change of plans, so it'll be me doing solo. I think last week I went solo. This was a little chap, Lord. I think last week I went solo for Norwood went solo while I was at the Celebration Bowl. Again, one of the best times I've had. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. We are here. This is Saturday Morning Live. Y'all know what it is. We pick games. We bet brews. I'm going to let some of you guys come on in. Let me know where you from. Like, subscribe. Let us know where you from. Again, give us a like. Give us a subscribe. We are trying to get to 1,000 followers so that we can go live on YouTube. We already go live on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, but we are trying to make our way over to Facebook as well as part of TikTok as well. So with that being said, I just can't wait for you guys to come in. While we have it in, while I wait for you guys to join, let's go ahead and talk about this OU versus Alabama game. That first game, I don't think y'all can see my pointer, but that first game right there last night was a hell of a matchup. Alabama goes into Oklahoma. Oh, let me make sure I got the game on. Got to make sure I have the game ready to play. Alabama goes into Oklahoma, goes down by 17, bruh. And they still end up coming back on a 34-7 run and win 34-24. Now, what I want to know is, do y'all feel that Alabama won that game? Did they take it from them, or did Oklahoma lose it? Because for me, Oklahoma lost that game to me. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Oklahoma had the biggest of meltdowns in the second quarter. And when I say the biggest of meltdowns in the second quarter, Oklahoma dropped the punt. Oklahoma quietly has one of the best special teams units in the nation. They have one of the best kickers, and they have one of the best punters, right? Not only did the punter mess up and actually just smooth drop the ball, the kicker, the nation's best kicker, who had not missed a field goal since his very first kick, one of the best transfers, voted one of the best transfers in the country from the portal, missed 2 field goals. Can't do it. So do y'all feel that Alabama won the game or Oklahoma lost the game? Kudos to Alabama, man. Got to give kudos to Alabama where it's due. Alabama held serve. They went down by 17 points. Everything that I predicted was going to happen was happening. I figured OU was going to fluster Ty Simpson, and they were going to hit Ty Simpson. And I felt that if you hit Ty Simpson and knock him off of his square, that they were going to lose. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining. Please leave your name. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on the road to 1,000 followers. We're at 503. Woo! So our next landmark is 750. So we're trying to get to 750 followers across TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all of those things. Oklahoma, everything that I thought was going to. So let me tell y'all what my pick was. I picked Oklahoma to win this game. Because I said the defense, if they were to hit Ty Simpson and knock him off his square, I think it would be a long game. I figured John Mateer in the offense, along with Venables, putting together a game plan was going to be enough to beat Alabama. That's what I figured. And for, what is it? Is it 15-minute quarters? 15, 30, 45, 60? Yeah, because 48 minutes of basketball, 15-minute quarters. For 23 minutes, for the first quarter and half of the second quarter, bro, for 23 minutes, I was correct. Ty Simpson looked flustered. Alabama's defense couldn't stop the run, couldn't stop the pass. And Oklahoma just looked like they were the more prepared team. And then all of a sudden, what do you have? Kalen DeBoer has done really, really well. What's up? What's up, Ryan? Appreciate it. Kalen DeBoer has done really, really well with knowing when to go for it on fourth down. Now, some of you may argue it's not hard to figure out when to go for a fourth down. You were down 17-0. I can't argue that. But they were down 17-0, 4th and 3. Instead of taking the field goal, which would have allowed Oklahoma to then keep it 17-3, they went for it on 4th and 3 and ended up getting a touchdown to number 17, the freshman. And Alabama had the thing is, even though they scored, that was like when they scored against Georgia. When Alabama scored against Georgia, you didn't really think Alabama was going to come back. That's how I felt when Alabama scored before the half against Oklahoma. I was like, Oklahoma's going to go down and score again because Alabama has not proven that they could stop anything. And I was right. Well, I almost was right. Alabama went down the field. Oklahoma went down the field, and instead of taking on a 3rd-and-2 or third and medium, instead of taking the first down with just running, or instead of throwing it to the receiver going wide right across, what's up, Sydney? Instead of going to the receiver right across the middle for the first down, John Mateer decides to go for the knockout blow, and he throws it deep against his body to a receiver, and I'm thinking, oh, he might have him, and it's actually the running back. Now, to his credit, he made a great pass, right? He made a great pass, but at the same time, and the running back, for the most part, should have caught it. He should have caught it. The ball hit him in the hands. He short-armed it. He alligator-armed it. But to me, it's easy to play Monday morning quarterback, or here, Saturday morning quarterback, Saturday morning live. Again, like, follow, subscribe. To me, it's easier to methodically work down the field, especially against a wounded Alabama defense that had no confidence. And you were moving down the field. You were at midfield. Instead of taking that, you just go ahead and take the first down. Why not get the first down? That was a bad decision by Mateer. And that marked the beginning of the end for Oklahoma. That throwing the ball deep to that running back instead of taking the first down marked the beginning of the end for Oklahoma. Because, again, afterwards, I said Oklahoma had one of the best special teams in this. Oklahoma, what up, what up? Oklahoma had one of the best special teams in the country. The punter just absolutely drops the ball. Missteps. I don't know what happened, but he just drops the ball. So now that the punter drops the ball, Alabama, and Tim Keenan falls on it, Alabama now has 1st-and-10 from the 30, right? They get another short field, right? So now they get a short field. They're down 17-7. Now, all of a sudden, the momentum that I said wasn't there, all of a sudden starts happening. It starts happening. Alabama goes in. Oklahoma's defense, for the most part, though, played well up until that point, and they held them to a field goal. Cool. I'm like, you know what? And I had a little text chat with my and this is what I talked about earlier on TikTok. I had a little text chat, and this is what I told my sister and my dad. I was like, look, Oklahoma has to score, though. Like, you can't just not score. And to me, Alabama really hadn't shown that they could stop Oklahoma. And then everything goes quiet. Alabama goes back. They're jumping around the line. It's 3rd-and-2, 2nd-and-2, whatever. And Mateer gets fooled, and he throws a pick six. Bum, bum, bum. Now it's 17-17. Literally 4 minutes ago, it was 17-0. It was 17-7, and you had the ball, and all you had to do was take that first down, John Mateer, and it becomes either 20-7 or 20. I don't think Alabama would have stopped you. It becomes 24-7. Another thing about that first touchdown for Alabama on that drive, Alabama figured out that their slot receiver was being guarded by a safety from Oklahoma. Once that slot receiver started getting guarded by a safety from Oklahoma, Barbecue chicken, y'all. Barbecue chicken. And in the second half, they leaned on that matchup. And at that point, Alabama still doesn't have a run game. But once they got the lead, Alabama doesn't have a run game, but they can get 2 yards. They can get 3rd and 2. They can get 3rd and 3. And now you have to kind of sell out to stop the pass. And they started going to that tight end, and it was ugly. It was ugly for Oklahoma. And Oklahoma looked scared. Alabama defense woke up. They just started playing everybody. And I do like that philosophy. If we going to go down, we're going to go down swinging, bruh. I like that philosophy. So Alabama played everybody, and they ended up, the defense, whatever combination they had, the defense woke up. Whatever combination they had, the defense woke up, and really, the defense woke up, but Oklahoma's offense played scared. They had like they were scared to throw the ball. They ran so many quarterback draws in the second half. I was like, bro, y'all just don't trust Mateer at all? He was supposed to be a Heisman candidate, right? So y'all don't even trust Mateer at all. And all of a sudden, that Alabama offense started rolling. No pun intended. That Alabama offense started rolling, bro. Nothing you can do. Nothing you can do. Nothing you can do about it. So, with that being said, Alabama beats Oklahoma. Now, for today's game, let me go ahead and pull up my list. Go ahead and pull up my list. Huh? Do I not have the list open? Y'all give me a second. I'm going to have the list open here in a second. Go ahead and pull up my list of the games. I think at 12 o'clock, we have Texas A&M. This is an ugly game for Miami. And Texas A&M. You got stuck with the 12 o'clock game. Let me pull up my list real quick, y'all. Hold on. SML Saturday Morning Live. Here we go. 12:20. All right, here we go. Miami versus Texas A&M. Miami versus Texas A&M. Bottom bracket, 7 versus 10. 7 versus 10. Miami versus Texas A&M. You should be able to see it. Of the first bracket, you should see 7 versus 10. Miami versus Texas A&M. The winner goes and plays Ohio State. Who do I have in Miami versus Texas A&M? Texas A&M Kyle Field is really difficult to play, especially as an away team. Do I believe in Carson Beck? No, I don't. I've had a couple years to see Carson Beck play for UGA. What up, Dad? What up, AJ? Do I have Miami beating Texas A&M? No. I have Texas A&M beating Miami. Texas A&M gets Le'Veon Moss back, their top running back, and they already have a pretty good offensive line. They play really good defense under Mike Elko. I do not believe in Carson Beck. I do think Miami's receivers will put pressure. on Texas A&M's DBs. And if Texas A&M can get to the quarterback and fluster Carson Beck, I don't think Miami will have enough. But just like Alabama did, what up, Worthy? Just like Alabama did, hey, you can roll Tide all day, dog. Y'all deserve that win. Just like Alabama did, if Miami can stick around, all you're trying to do as JMU to Miami and Tulane, all you're trying to do is stick around. You just trying not to get blown out. The more all pressure goes on the home team if it stays close. If you keep it close, you stay in the game, you stay within 10 to 15 points, in Alabama's case, 17 points. If you can answer and start building that momentum and add in that doubt, sometimes it won't even be the players that crack. It'll be the offensive coordinator in Oklahoma's case. Offensive coordinator for Oklahoma just went scared. With that being said, I had Texas A&M beat Miami. Willing to bet a 6-pack on that. I believe that's a really good game to bet a 6-pack. Y'all let us know. Let me know in the comments. Again, give us a like, a follow, and a share. Y'all go ahead and send this live out to everybody you know. If you're on Twitch, if you're on Instagram, we'll be on TikTok soon. If you're on YouTube, y'all let everybody know. So I have Texas A&M beating Miami. Next, what's the next game? Tulane versus Ole Miss. Y'all gonna call me crazy. But let me explain. I think Tulane is going to give Ole Miss a game. Yes, I know SEC folks. I know we feel that the talent is overwhelming, and yes, Tulane got destroyed by Ole Miss earlier. With that being said, I do not know the transfer portal, what has happened with the teams for the transfer portal, but I don't think either team has lost anybody of significance. One. Two, I really put a big emphasis on Lane Kiffin not being there, probably more than most people do. And I think that may outweigh some of the talent disparity. Here's why. Lane Kiffin is really good at sequencing plays. He's really good at game calling plays, making adjustments on the fly, pointing out, making it really, really easy for his quarterback. I said this multiple times, and I say it here for those that didn't see me earlier. I say it here. Lane Kiffin is known for, as soon as you break the huddle, he points out exactly where he wants you to throw the ball. And he'll say, hey, and now, with the headpiece, they could talk to you with 15 seconds left. He'll jump up and down. He'll say, hey, run the play as is or flip it or whatever. And then he'll point to this person. He did it against Georgia. I saw it real time. Went for a 75-yard touchdown. He did it against Alabama. Worthy's here. He knows Lane Kiffin. As soon as he sees something, he tells you to hike the ball, throw the ball to who you throw the ball to, and then he throws the play card up in the air. He starts sprinting down the sideline before the quarterback even throws the ball. Right? And 95% of the time it's a touchdown. He did it with Jalen Hurts. He did it with Tua. He did it at Ole Miss. He's done it everywhere he's gone. I think that's a big drop-off from – and he calls plays. So I don't – does Charlie Weiss Jr., has he ever actually called plays? Y'all let me know. I don't think Charlie Weiss Jr. called plays while Lane Kiffin was there. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. I think now, I will have to say Lane is a legend. I will have to say that even with Lane not being there, Lane, he's a lunatic, but also a legend. Even with Lane not being there, Tulane is going to have multiple things happen. Kind of like Alabama yesterday. You're going to have to get you a turnover. Your defense is going to have to play uncharacteristically well. The offense for Ole Miss is going to have to be out of sync. You're going to have to get some special teams. They had a block punt you're going to have to get some special teams breaks. That's what happens when you have you're a big underdog and everybody's counting you out. And I think if they can get some of those breaks in the first half, I think Tulane can beat Ole Miss. And that's going to be my upset of the day. Everything is easy. Alabama over Ole Miss over Oklahoma ain't really no big. Alabama over Oklahoma ain't a big upset. JMU over Ohio State. JMU over Oregon would be the biggest upset in the history of football, college football. And then Texas A&M Miami over Texas A&M really isn't a big upset either, even though I still have Texas A&M taking it. But Tulane beating Ole Miss, that would be fantastic. So I'm taking Tulane here. Tulane. Shots. Oregon versus JMU. And y'all let me know if y'all want to bet. Oregon versus JMU. Hey, JMU. Kudos and congratulations. You better hope that y'all haven't said anything crazy against Oregon. Y'all did have the really funny social media posts, but Dan Lanning, I hope y'all didn't piss Dan Lanning off. Because when y'all piss Dan Lanning off, he goes and uses that as motivation to try to destroy you. And he is a real lunatic. One of two things will happen this is in the comments. One of two things will happen with Ole Miss. Ole Miss emotion with how Lane left, will either lead them to beating the crap out of Tulane, or the emotion gets the best of them and they lose. I like leaning on emotion. I hear you, Worthy. But also, are y'all sold on Pete Golding as a head coach? He really ain't that great as a defensive coordinator. Again, no shade, just what I've observed. Are y'all really sold on Pete Golding as a head coach? He's the head coach. They have made that, and I think Ole Miss made that move to try to make sure that nobody leaves. at least on defense, because I think they like Pete Golding. Um, I don't think it's gonna matter. I think they're gonna have mass exodus. But and Lane Kiffin sent over the offensive assistants, which is it's kind of like a conflict of interest for me, because I'm assuming that the offensive coordinators are definitely recruiting the best receivers that they have at Ole Miss to come to LSU, right? LSU has already had a few people leave, so this is such a conflict of interest. It's so it could be very, very, very distracting. Yeah, but JMU, Oregon, JMU, y'all gonna get smoked, 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 smoked. So that's what we have for college football. I got Texas A&M over Miami, Tulane with the upset. Oregon absolutely make sure that we will never see a Power Five. They may beat JMU so bad they change the rules again, like when Georgia beat TCU in the national championship game. They just changed the rules the next year and didn't let Georgia in, even though they were 13-1. I'm not mad though. So let's move on to pro football, week 16. And before we get to the schedule, let me tell you, this pro football playoff schedule, kind of crazy. The playoff standing is kind of crazy. Denver, Bo freaking Knicks. If you're an SEC fan, I'm joining Nick Saban and Dez and picking Miami. I hear you. So you got Miami. You got Miami over Texas A&M. Y'all let me know in the comments who you're picking, Miami or Texas A&M, Tulane or Ole Miss. And I know y'all picking Oregon. Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. We're going to go ahead and move on to pro football right now. AFC playoff picture. Right now, Denver is the number 1 seed. New England with an uncharacteristic drop against Buffalo. Not uncharacteristic, but Buffalo beats New England, and now they're 1 game out of the AFC East. Jacksonville. Now, if y'all know my podcast host, my co-host, Norwood believes Trevor Lawrence and Jacksonville are the biggest scams ever. If Trevor Lawrence is as real as we think he is, and this defense, I didn't think that they were going to get better when they traded for Newsom, but they did. They traded Tyson Campbell for Newsom, and they are playing really, really well. Jacksonville is playing fantastic. And then, of course, the Steelers in the AFC North, that's really a dogfight between the Steelers and the Ravens. And then, of course, in the hunt, I do not think, well, the Chargers won, but I think the Texans are going to end up taking they're probably going to catch everybody. I think the Texans are the second hottest team in the league behind Denver, who is won 11 straight, I think. The Texans have won. They started out 0-3, and they're now 7-2 in their last 9 games. So you got to look out for them. So, and then, of course, you have the NFC playoff picture. I had both of them. Sorry. You have Seattle, who just came back and beat the Rams. The Rams have to be kicking themselves by losing to Seattle after being up. I think they were up in the 4th quarter. They were up by 3 scores, and then let them come back and win. Can't have that happen. Can't have that happen. Can't have that happen. Seattle won. Chicago versus Green Bay. Chicago, then of course Philly, and then Tampa Bay. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and look at the schedule. So, Philly plays Washington this week. I think Philly is the number 2 seed. I think Philly needs to go ahead and win. I've never seen. Do we consider Philadelphia a dynasty? We're treating Philadelphia like they're a dynasty. Do we consider them a dynasty? They're the 3 seed. Do we consider them a dynasty? Because this is what happens when dynasties crumble. People get sick of each other. They don't like each other. Think about the Warriors with KD. KD and Draymond just could not deal with it, right? They got sick of each other. Same thing with the Pistons. I don't think the Bulls ever had that. I think Jordan just left. But same thing with the Lakers. Dynasties always crumble because players get sick of each other. Who's sick of each other? Allegedly, if you talk to Philly fans, everything is a lie. And they say Jalen and everybody and all the receivers are cool, and it's really the offensive coordinator. But I think they all sick of each other, to be honest. But with that being said, I do not believe that the Commanders will beat Philly. I think Philly could beat the Commanders with their eyes closed. And they play today? Nah, it's not happening. Over with. Over with. Over with. On the other side, Packers versus the Bears. NFC North showdown. I think the Bears right now lead the division, and the Packers, because of that tie with Dallas, is going for it, and they have a chance to still contend for the number 1 seed. Whoever wins this, they're playing in where they playing, y'all? Are they playing? They're playing in Chicago, right? It's gonna be frigid out there, boy. Green Bay just lost Micah Parsons. The only reason Green Bay lost to Denver, in my opinion, last week, because remember, Denver came back, is because Micah Parsons went out. Micah Parsons doesn't get hurt. Bo Nix doesn't get to sit back there and throw the ball. They did, yes, Worthy, they did lose Christian Watson. They did lose Christian Watson. To me, he's always hurt. He's replaceable. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, he done tore every shoulder, collarbone, something all the time. So I think he's replaceable. But at the same time, Micah Parsons, that was your big bet, right? That was your guy. And it didn't work out because he's hurt. So I think the Bears have this one. But, hey, man, Bears, y'all can't let Green Bay beat y'all with Micah Parsons hurt and Christian Watson, their number 1 receiver, hurt. That's their number 1 everything hurt. Jaden Reed is hurt again, and Jaden Reed, number 11, is hurt. Now, Green Bay's defense still is good, but, I mean, they were phenomenal with that. What's up, AJ? Appreciate it. Bears got to win that. Bears going to win that. All right. So, I'm taking the Eagles, and I'm taking the Bears. Bills versus Browns. This is a Quinshon Judkins game. Bills have to win in order to keep pace with the Patriots. I got the Bills over the Browns. Shador, hopefully you have the right play card. Hopefully the receivers catch the ball, Jerry Jeudy, and don't skip to Malu and fumble. And hopefully Kevin Stefanski does not do a double reverse pass for the game tying 2-point conversion. That's a lot of ifs for a quarterback, bro. If I'm Shador, all them ifs have to happen for me to even have a good game. It's crazy. Shout out to AJ. Thank you for reminding us, though. Good thing for Cleveland, though. Buffalo's offensive line is not great. I don't know if he gets the sack record today because Josh Allen is just a beast. But, I mean, you could. Josh Allen going up against Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett in that offensive line is crazy. Shout out to Cleveland. Y'all can't fire y'all GM either. Because y'all have built up that defense pretty well, and y'all have a bevy of picks because Jacksonville went up and traded for Travis Hunter. So, with that being said, I'm taking Buffalo. that ain't no conversation. I'm taking Buffalo here. After that, we have Chargers versus Cowboys. Big game for the Chargers. The Chargers are in the wild card. Now, the Chargers have no offensive line. Both of their starting tackles are out, and the backup tackle behind Joe Alt is hurt. Sounds familiar, right, Falcons fans? And you're going to Dallas. Now, Dallas's defense is porous, but they've been better, and they're good against the run, and the Chargers can't run the ball. Give me Dallas, man. I'm not about to sit here and try to talk my way into picking the Chargers. It's the end of the year. The Chargers, this is when the Chargers normally suck. So I'm taking Dallas here in an upset. Is it an upset? I guess so. In an upset. Y'all let me know. Y'all taking Dallas? I'm taking Dallas. Chiefs Titans in the race to see who gets the highest pick. I am taking the Titans over the Chiefs because there is no Patty Mahomes. No Patty Mahomes. Let me tell y'all my conspiracy theory here. No Patty Mahomes, right? Tom Brady, and I had this thought, and then other podcasters put the thought into words, and I was able to add my points to it. Tom Brady when he tore his knee, he came back. He hadn't been to the Super Bowl in a few years. and everybody thought it was over. He tore his knee, came back, and then he had the second part of his career. I think the same thing is about to happen for Patrick Mahomes. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be out all of next year. Right? If I were the Chiefs, I would keep him out all next year. I think that they're going to end up purging part of the defense because that's where you're going to get most of your return. Travis Kelce is going to go retire. They're going to trade Chris Jones, who's 31, will be 32. They'll get a couple picks. They'll be terrible. They'll be in the lottery. And then in 2027, because the draft is 2026, in 2027, the draft will have Ryan Williams. It will have Jeremiah Smith. It will have all of those receivers. That's supposed to be a strong draft offensively. And I believe, what's up, Nessa? And I believe in 2027, you are going to see Patrick Mahomes get the receiver that he's been wanting to replace Tyreek with. I think he's going to get one of those receivers because you'll have a bevy of picks and you'll be able to trade up to go get him. With that being said, the Titans going to beat the Chiefs today. No Patty? It's over with. It's over with. Bengals, Dolphins. Y'all know I am selfish. I pick because if I don't care about the game, I pick whatever will benefit the Falcons. I want the Atlanta Falcons to fire Raheem, fire Zach Robinson, our offensive coordinator, go get Robert Saleh, keep Ulbrich, and then get Mike McDaniels as our offensive coordinator. That's my pie in the sky. I'm going to say it again. Robert Saleh, pair back up with Ulbrich, and go get Mike McDaniels. That's what I hope. With that being said, how does that play in this game with Miami? Well, for that to happen, I need Mike McDaniels to lose, as he just benched Tua for Quinn Ewers. So I need Mike McDaniels and the Bengals. Mike McDaniels and the what's up, Deja? I need Mike McDaniels and the Dolphins to lose to the Bengals. Hey, Joe, I know you said you don't really have a lot of joy playing football right now. You nor your man Jamar Chase. But you might get some of it back today because there's no Tua. It's Quinn Ewers, and at this point, I think the writing is on the wall for Miami, and they're about to leave. Let's go with the next game, which is going to be Jets versus the Aints. We don't care. The Jets have already reaffirmed that they are not going to fire Aaron Glenn, which I am so happy for that because I feel like that was going to be some BS if you fire Aaron Glenn after giving him that terrible roster after 1 year. And the Saints are the Saints. I think the Saints are going to win this game. I think the Jets are awful, and I think the Falcons shouldn't have lost to the Jets, and that probably sealed the deal of why Raheem should be fired. That and also the Miami Dolphins game. What's up, DeBeat Smith? Appreciate you for joining. We are now Vikings-Giants in a big game. Vikings-Giants, I think both of these teams eventually will be out of the playoffs. I think the Giants are already out. They're looking for a coach. Giants, this really isn't about the game. I do want NO to lose. This is what I really want this to happen. I need y'all to not play Jackson Dart. My man has been tested for 5 concussions in 10 games, and he's only a rookie. Y'all are crazy. And there's no way I would play him against the Vikings. Play Jameis. Jameis, look, if you need a home, Jameis, come on over to Atlanta, bro. We got 1 year. We got to do it with Penix. Ravens winning the AFC North. We'll get there. We will get there, but I definitely have the Vikings beating the Giants. Now, finally, something that has to do with the playoffs. Bucks at Panthers, if I'm not mistaken. They play 2 of the last 3 weeks. Shout out to the scheduling guys. Justin Jefferson goes for over 200 yards. Yes, and I'm starting him, so he should. Who do y'all have right here between? This is basically the NFC South right here. The NFC South crown is happening in the last 2 to 3 weeks. The Bucks, who inexplicably absolutely blew it to the Falcons, have to go to Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. Going to Carolina is tough, but the Bucks, it's really, do you believe in Baker Mayfield? I believe in Baker Mayfield and tough when you Baker Mayfield as an underdog is one of the best players in the league. When he's counted on is when it's tough. But as the underdog, I have Baker Mayfield beating the Panthers here. Now, we did say that the Panthers are really good at playing up to their competition. So the Panthers may play really, really well in this game. Bryce Young doesn't really do well against everybody else, but he does well against, other than the Falcons. But hey, this is a division game. We will see. We got kickoff 1st and 10 for Texas A&M. Let me hurry up and get through with this. All right, so Broncos Jaguars, and probably game of the week, right? Broncos Jaguars, Ravens Patriots. I don't know, that LA Seattle game was crazy. Broncos Jaguars. Now we get to see if the Jaguars are good or not. I feel like that's an unfair measuring stick because you're going to Mile High Stadium with the thin air in the cold, and you're a Florida team, and you're playing against probably a top 2 defense in the league. They have more sacks than the Falcons. The Falcons are number 2 in the league. We got like 48. They got like 10 more. But defense travels. And although Bo Nix is playing really well and he has Sean Payton behind him, making him really good, Bo Nix, I still think he's inconsistent. But so is Trevor Lawrence. So with that being said, I'm going to take Denver here. Y'all let me know if you're going to take Denver or Jacksonville. Marcel, there you go. Marcel Reed runs for a first down. All right. As of right now, the AFC got to go through Denver. If you're going to win the playoffs, those games you got to win. You're right, Mike. You're right, Worthy. Right now, Jacksonville, if you want people to take you seriously, you have to beat Denver. You have to win these games. And don't you lose. You can't really lose because we'll get back down to it. There's some more games. The Texans are right on y'all heels. Unfortunately for Indianapolis, it's over with. But the Texans are right on y'all heels, bro. Falcons, Cardinals. Whatever, bro. Falcons gonna win. Falcons gonna win out. Everybody in our division is gonna be 8-9. Watch. Something crazy like that. So I got Falcons over the Cardinals, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have another lackluster performance. But Kirk Cousins is cooking right now. We get Drake London back. Bijan is out there. With Drake London coming back, I wonder how we still keep Kyle Pitts involved. Because Kyle Pitts involved looked like a whole new person. So I got us beating the Cardinals. I think our defense is just too strong for the Cardinals. Steelers, Lions. Another good game. I don't know what game of the week is here. Steelers, Lions. Steelers have to win to keep pace stay ahead of the Ravens. Lions have to win because they're trying to stay in the wild card. Remember, I told you, I said the Lions, I don't have them making the playoffs. And as of now, they're not. But I do think they get it done against the Steelers, setting up a huge matchup later in the end of the season for I think Ravens Steelers. Do y'all play anymore? Or the end of the season? With that being said, that's not a good game. The Lions are about to crush the Steelers. I'm not gonna say you're wrong, AJ. I think the Lions probably will beat the Steelers. Texans, Raiders, which is probably the second hottest team in the league. Texans, Raiders. Not so fast, my friend, says Worthy. Steelers are not a bad team. No TJ Watt? Yeah, no TJ Watt is tough. Raiders versus Texans. Texans gonna beat the stew out the Raiders. The Texans are the second hottest team in the league, and that is going to put pressure on Jacksonville because Jacksonville will lose to Denver. So now you will have a tie atop the division, and I think it goes to tiebreakers. But I think the Texans will ultimately end up winning this division. I got the Texans. Me too, Nessa. Me too. I got the Texans too. What are they calling? Miami's out here flying around, boy. Miami is flying around. And then that brings us to the last two games: Ravens versus Patriots. Ravens Patriots means something again. Big game for the Ravens. Lamar, how you gonna act? Receivers for the Ravens. How y'all gonna act? Where's Zay Flowers? I know y'all got the tight ends. Derrick Henry, what are you doing? Have you just fallen off a cliff? Defense for the Ravens. How y'all gonna act against this Patriots team? Josh McDaniels historically has torched y'all. So, with that being said, this is a big game for both. 3rd and 7, and they ran a draw. They gave up. Patriots got to win to stay ahead of the Bills. Ravens got to win to keep pace with the Steelers. Lamar versus Drake May. I think that the Patriots have the better offense and better defense. I am going to take the Patriots over the Ravens. Don't get mad at me to beat Smith. Don't get mad at me, bro. But I am going to take the Patriots over the Ravens. I would love for the Ravens to win. It does, Worthy. It looks like one of those weeks in the NFL where it's going to be it's going to be wonky. It's going to be, what is it? Hey, NFL, go home, you're drunk. I feel like that's what's about to happen. And then, of course, San Francisco versus Indianapolis. San Francisco versus Indianapolis. Look, Indianapolis has Jonathan Taylor. They have TJ Warren. They have a really good defense. But the Colts, man, that Robert Saleh defense with the 49ers going up against old man Rivers, who can't move, and your receivers don't really, and the receivers for the Colts don't really create any separation other than Josh Downs, and all you have to do is kind of roll your zone to him. I think San Francisco might beat the stew. Trying to stop cussing. Might beat the stew out of the Colts. I think San Francisco. So I'm going to take San Francisco here. Recap. I got the Eagles over the Commanders, the Bears over the Packers, the Bills over the Browns, the Cowboys over the Chargers, the Titans over the Chiefs, the Bengals over the Dolphins. I don't care about the Saints versus the Jets. I hope the Saints lose. The Vikings over the Giants. Do I have the Bucks over Carolina? What did I say, y'all? Did I pick the Bucks over Carolina? Did I pick Carolina over the Bucks? I don't think I ever made a decision on that one. I'm gonna take the Bucks. Baker Mayfield as the underdog. That's what I picked. I'm gonna pick the Bucks over the Panthers. I'm gonna pick the Broncos over the Jaguars. I'm gonna pick the Falcons over the Cardinals. I'm gonna pick the Lions over the Steelers, the Texans over the Raiders, the Patriots over Baltimore, and San Francisco over the Colts. And then I picked Oregon over JMU. I was wrong about Oklahoma and Alabama. I picked Texas A&M over Miami. And then I picked Tulane over Ole Miss. Those are my picks. Y'all want to bet anything, let me know. Again, I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all like, follow, and subscribe. I am starving. I have not eaten today. But I got the cutty. Please remember, like, follow, subscribe. We are on a road to 1,000 followers. Follow us on TikTok, same thing at the Splashcast. Follow us on Facebook. Make sure you join our Facebook page. We definitely drop all of our media over there that comes out on all our social media. Everything goes over there. Plus, we're going to drop some articles, some fan written articles over there as well. Follow Dive Team Media Network. We are working on some other shows that should come out in 2026, community-based shows, as well as sports, as well as everything else. False start, 4th and 11, time to punt. With that being said, please follow, like, and subscribe. We'll see you there. I'm not sure if we'll have Monday Night Raw. If we do, I'll let you know. It is holiday season. Again, if we don't talk to y'all again officially, have a happy holiday. Stay blessed. Stay safe. We love y'all. Peace. We out of here.